Eyes down for the
Good morning, people. Monday, 11 o'clock, and I've made it. I'm feeling much better. And thanks to Garden Tractor Boy, who mentioned that his dad had also been down for a week after he'd had a booster jab. And I was warned by the nurse that it could be quite debilitating, shall we say. She did say, don't wait, take paracetamol and antihistamine straight away. So, what we've got today is a brief respite. Those wings look well. A brief respite before the weather closes in again tomorrow. And it's given high winds and snow over high ground. Well, as far as Langtoft's concerned, we are high ground. Because all around us is hills. So it's pretty dismal today, but it's supposed to be going a lot worse tomorrow. So I'm here today, but I may not be tomorrow. So the idea today is to finish the wings, and get some red lead on the insides and some filler on the outsides, and finish the front cowl, get these two little holes here welded up, and get this cowl welded back onto the main part of the body, because it's not at the moment. They're two separate pieces. As you can see, there's a couple of spot welds there which I've drilled out. So let's crack on. Thanks for all the good wishes during my vaccine imposed illness. I was feeling pretty crap. Not as bad as I felt with the first two jabs, because they put me in bed, but I was just so weak and constantly blowing hot and cold. But there you go, that's me just being miserable. I don't like winter, I don't like poor weather, I don't like the cold, and I've run out, to cap it all, I've run out of bloody wood. I've been really lax with my wood organisation this year. If you remember last year, I had that doorway filled virtually to the top with firewood, cut firewood. Well, this year I thought I had loads in the Luton, and when I actually opened the back, there was only about 4 of those big green bags, and I went through that in no time. Of course, I was burning it when I really didn't need to, and now I need to. I haven't got any. What a useless person I am. Right, I'm just thinking, if I go around and get all my blocks together, all my packing blocks, look, there's all that lot, I could burn that. No, I'm not going to, I'm joking. As soon as the weather cuts fair for a day or two, and it's set towards the end of this week, I'm going to go up to Keith's, and we're going to sort out some wood and set it out to dry, because we have loads of ash up there, and ash is terrific burning wood. But unfortunately, Keith's had a bit of an accident. He dropped a table on his foot, and he's temporarily crocked. He even got out of going to a dog show on Sunday in Newark, because he put his shoe on and drove to Driffield to see if he could stand it. It became quickly obvious he couldn't, so he's still got a very swollen foot. Right, crack on with the mudguards and the front cowl. I'll bring you back when I'm doing something useful. Bye now. Right, that's mudguard number 1 off, and got the zinc primer on it. All cleaned up on the outside, hammered straight on the outside, cleaned up on the inside, zinc primer, and next it's going to get a coat of red lead, but I'll put some seal around the welds as well, just to blend it in a bit and seal any little holes that go into the box section. I shall be filling with the box sections with wax oil, so I've got to drill here and here at the other side underneath. I've got to put 2 3/4 holes in, so I can put 2 3/4 or 20mm grommets in to take the wires that go up to the lights. There's one there and there's one there. Originally they went up here, 2 wires went up here, one went to that light, and then there was a little tube welded across there to go to this light. Well, that tube has managed to rot all this edge, so I've had to repair it, so we won't be putting that back on. But there you go. Right, well that's looking good. Next I have to do the other mudguard, and this is the better of the two by a long way. So I shall crack on with that and see how it goes. And I've got the man coming to look at my mum's internet to try and sort it out for her. So that's good. He's going to be here in the next couple of hours. Okay, catch you later. Bye now. Right folks, and that's all the repairs. Sealed round with a bit of silicone, right, which is all pumped underneath and in between the two areas of metal, anywhere where water could get in, just to seal the welds in. Right, unfortunately I've run out of silicone, but I can get some more tomorrow. But tomorrow is Storm Barra, and Storm Barra is set to supposedly bring high winds and snow. So whether I'll be here tomorrow or not, I don't know. And it is rapidly approaching the time when I normally close down for Christmas, because my daughter has rung me up and said, Dad, as soon as this little parcel arrives, which is a secret Santa for one of my housemates, I'm free because I've finished uni and you can come and pick me up. So she's coming home early, so I think at the end of this week I will call that a draw for workshop videos until January. Now I may make some videos in the meantime about weather and climate and Driffield and all sorts, but I doubt I'll be in the workshop till January. I need to get back to Langtoft on a day when it's not raining and rake up some firewood, because as I've said before, probably ad nauseam, the coldest time in East Yorkshire is generally January and February. For us to get snow this early is very unusual, especially snow in November, which is virtually unheard of. Very rare, but there you go. And it's not climate change, so please don't say that. I wouldn't do the first will be to say, all this snow is caused by climate change, it's global warming. Right, okay, so I'll let those dry now, and then I can give those a coat of red lead on the inside. And I need to get some sealer before I can do that one. So now I'm going to get on with this cowl, which I've taken off. As you can see, I've taken all the bits off again. I'm just going to put a couple of dabs more weld on this cowl to fill up the gap, and then I'll see if I can get that welded together, because I can't carry on with the mudguards, but we're zooming forward. So I'll get this done next and assembled back together, and then we can start sealing that up and getting that ready to paint. The only thing I think I've got to do to this is, if you can see in there, in that little trough there is a rubber seal, and that rubber seal pushes against the underside of the of this side of the bonnet and stops water running into the gap, which I want to do. So I've got to realign this and bend that rubber seal up maybe until I can make it work. I don't know if I can make it work or not. It's been badly bent as this bonnet, because as I've said before, again probably ad nauseam, the hinge was seized up, almost seized solid, and instead of it actually pivoting on the hinge like it is doing now, see if I can just hold this and show you, it pivots really well on the hinge now. Well, what it was doing was mostly flexing the metal, and it had broke this metal completely away from the bonnet. Well, I've welded it back on, and I've also reinforced it with lines of big gusset tacks all the way down, and it's fine now. But this is up in the middle and needs knocking back down again, so I'm going to have to do some work on that. But it'll probably go okay. We'll see. We'll see. This is the next job. I've got to just put a bit more weld in these here, right, and then I've got to make it so that I can put some tack welds right the way through, all the way around, to put it back together again, get it back in one piece. So I'll crack on with that now, and the internet man is due any moment, so I might have to leave off and rush up to my mum's to get her internet sorted. Right, I'll bring you back when I'm doing something more interesting. Bye now. Hi folks, Monday, 4 o'clock. Mudguards in red lead, both. Insides, not outsides, because the outsides need lots of body filler on them. Right, so that's done. I can seal, I've run out of sealer, but I can seal these, I can seal the second one on top of the red lead. It doesn't make any difference. In fact, it might even be better, although they've both got weld-through primer on underneath those box sections, so they should be fine. They're next going to get a coat of stone chip, because I have in stock some grey stone chip, lots and lots of grey stone chip. So they're going to get stone chipped on the inside, and they might even get stone chipped on the outside, but a thin coat. I'll see about that. That's a good idea. And I've also had a crack at this. It's past the Rubicon now, so no more welding, but I've welded that up and done that with the weld-through primer, and I've finished that and done that with the weld-through primer, and we can tack to this edge all the way along on the inside, and we can also tack to this edge all the way along on the inside. So what I'm probably going to do is put 2 spot welds, I'll punch 2 holes there and put 2 spot welds there to hold that piece on, and I'll put a couple of spot welds here where the other ones were, and I'll do the same at this side, a couple of spot welds there, right, and then a couple down there to hold the bottom steady, and then up here I'll just tack to these edges and weld it on the inside. It'll be a much better job, and I can get in there, you see, I can get round there to either side to get my weld from there. So tomorrow I'll be ready for assembling that, and that's another step forward. Now when that's assembled, next job is I'll have a look at this, see if I can make this edge a bit better, right, and if I can get that edge fitting a bit better, we'll call that done. That will be done, and the mudguards will be ready for filler on the other side, because they'll be dry by tomorrow, so we can then start to put some filler on. In the meantime I could do with another tube of mastic just to act as joint and seam sealer. The reason people are saying, oh, that joint and seam sealer stuff, it's really expensive, isn't it? The reason it's really expensive is mainly because it's very quick drying, so that if you're working in a spray shop you can bang it on and 20 minutes later you can paint over it. It's got a highly volatile solvent in it. I've used in the past ordinary mastic in cartridges, and it works just as well, but you need to leave it a couple of days before you paint over it, and you can't paint cellulose over it, of course. You'll be alright with acrylics, but you can't paint cellulose over it because it bleeds through. So tomorrow it's gobber or doggo or whatever you want to call it, whatever other slang terms you have for body filler. I've had it all called all sorts. Dog, bog, gobbo, gobber. Fill it with gobber. Aye, then what days? Right, it's 4 o'clock. I think I've had enough for today. We've got the internet working at my mum's, so she'll be chuffed. I'll just have a go at this, I think. I'll just have a little go at this and see if I can make it a bit more sensible, and then it's home time. So if I get anything more interesting done, I'll bring you back and show you it. It's not too cold in here. I've put my multicoloured jumper on because it's a little bit chilly because I've no wood. This jumper's been kicking around the workshop all year, and it ended up chucked in that bag over there, which is full of cloths that obviously have diesel on them. So when I hooked it out, it stank of diesel. So I took it home and gave it a double wash and some fabric conditioner and stretched it back into shape to match my body. So it's going now, and I'm on, and I'm warm again. It's on and I'm warm again. Thank goodness for that. Right, bring you back later. Bye now. Hello folks, Monday, 5 o'clock, and that is a lot better fit. Not only does it meet up with the, it puts the rubber seal a lot closer to the top of the bonnet. That surface is flat and the gap is narrower. And believe it or not, if I can't show you this, they're a bit awkward, but they do hinge. That does, take my word for it, it hinges. It's a lot better than it was. It still needs work, but it's 5 o'clock and I've finished. Just needs tapping down the spine of the hinges now, just to set them all straight. And then when it gets some, when I've painted it and I can put some oil on the hinge or some grease on the hinge, it'll work a lot better. But at the moment it fits a lot better, and as you can see it comes out straight. Right, will I be here tomorrow or will I not? I don't know until I wake up in the morning and see what the weather's like, because tomorrow is storm bearer. So we'll see you all then. Bye now. Good morning folks, it's Wednesday. Tuesday was cancelled due to storm bearer and my general reluctance to head out, and I thought it was going to snow. As it was, it didn't snow here, but I was feeling a bit off, so I thought, sod it, I ain't going out in that. So thanks to the unique shape of the topper and the unique shape of the mudguards and this wonderful piece of steel running up the middle, we have managed to set the mudguards up in a superb position for their second coat of paint, because obviously the thickest area of paint wants to be there. So that is the first job. After that coat of paint is on and they're drying, the next job I think is going to be take this, punch some holes in it and weld it to that. Right, and yesterday, oh not yesterday, sorry, Monday, I managed to rejig this bonnet with a subtle amount of large hammer, and I've now got the two sides of the bonnet more or less flush in the middle, the gap between them parallel, and the bit that carries the rubber seal is fitting beautifully to the underside of the other sheet. So I've called that done, and that is now ready, I suppose, for painting. So we need a coat of red lead on the inside of that as well. But first we need to take the not driven in far enough hinge pin out. But what I might do before I paint it is drive the hinge pin right through. It's just there, you see, and it comes through further than that, because this stub end and that stub end have a bracket on it. So when I get that and that welded back together, I can assemble those onto the tractor, get this stub sticking out the correct amount, and then make the brackets, because I haven't got the brackets but I know what they look like, and I'll be able to fertile out what the size is and how they fit. So that's the next job. So on with that. I've had to bring out my, due to lack of wood, auxiliary heating system, which is a very, very old master heater from 1974. It's an antique. It stopped working in about 1980 because the weak link on these master heaters is the air pump. They never pump quite enough air. When they're brand new, they're lovely, but as soon as the vanes wear, they've got carbon vanes in a rotary. It's a rotary vane pump, and they only produce 4 psi. Right. So what I did with this many years ago is I added a valve out of a washing machine, took the test plug out of the back, connected a pipe to it, connected it to the washing machine valve, connected the washing machine valve to the power supply in there, and then put a pipe on it which goes to my spraying regulator. So when I wanted to use it, I would just plug in the spraying regulator, set it to 4 psi and switch on. The valve opens, lets the air through, and it works beautifully. and it puts loads of heat out, and because you're giving it a constant 4 psi as opposed to a bit of an iffy air pump driven off the motor, it burns so clean. And you can also burn diesel as well as paraffin, because nobody burns paraffin nowadays because it's too expensive. You can burn diesel as well as paraffin just by turning the air pressure up a little bit until you get a bright orange outer part and a slightly dull orange in the centre of the cone. It works really well. So if you've got a master heater that's smelly and smoky, and you've also got a compressor, even a little one, it only requires 4 psi, and you can adjust it to burn perfectly. I've stripped and rebuilt that so many times when it's got dirt in the fuel that I could probably do it blindfold. Right, anyway, that's worked and that's heated it up. That's heated the place up, so I can put that back on later if it cools down. But this workshop is rather well insulated, as you know. So apart from the doors, of course, which I could do with some curtains across the doors for winter. But there you go, I'm a perfectionist. Right, let's get on with the job. Let's get some paint clapped on those mudguards. Bring you back later. Hey folks, that's the second coat on there. Tipped up this way, I can thoroughly paint around the inside of the wired edge, so that gives us an extra bit of seal. And the next thing to do is to get a cartridge of mastic and seal this one round. Is it that one? Yes, it is that one. Seal that one round, which I forgot to get the mastic this morning, but never mind. I'll get one very soon. And then give those a coat of stone chip, and then they'll be ready for blue. And I've also been round and punched the holes for the spot welding. That one just wants pushing back into position now, but it positions really well, and so I'm now going to get this welded back on. So it's Molem grip eye time. Get it all gripped up and tapped into position, and then put some spot welds on it. Right, I'll crack on with that. Bye now. Right folks, there she is, all welded on, all spot welded on. Got a hole there which we need to put the copper behind, but other than that, I've got a hole there as well, but I can weld that one up. Other than that, she's gone on very well, and the grill's fit. I'm very pleased with that. So, onward. It looks good, and it sounds good as well. Right, bring you back in a bit. Right folks, here is the beginnings of a bracket which will fit onto the tank at the back and onto the onto there and onto there, and will hold, as you can see there, that's where the round bit goes, which will hold the bonnet in place. So I have to find a piece of a round bar now, make 2 pieces on the lathe and bore it, unless I have any tube that will fit. So that's the next job, to find a bit of tube. So on we go. Bring you back in a minute. And there we are folks. 2 little brackets made to hold the bonnet on. They're selling these on the internet at 18 quid a piece. Right, there you go. A piece of flat strip with a piece of tube on the end of it. Come on, you can make these. They're simple. Countersunk screws. They're a 1/4 UNC countersunk screws. And I'm just going to take those off now and finish the welding by welding underneath them all the way along the bar. But those 2 tacks are holding it well. So there we go. And he said, sorry, pointing you up in the air, we have a bonnet that fits rather well as well. This piece here has got long slots in it, so you can move this backwards and forwards to get the fit right. And then of course there's a rubber buffer down there, and the same at the other end, but their rubber buffers at that end are fixed underneath there, so that they just sit on the tank like that. I'm going to have to get some for that, because I think the ones I've got are knackered. They might be alright. They might be alright. But right, there we go. Bonnet that hinges, doesn't creak anymore, and it fits. It was just chucked on before. Right, there we go. Bring you back in a minute. Bye now. Okay folks, Wednesday, 5 to 5. The bonnet fits. The front end fits. I'm going to have to just put a rubber block under there just to twist it slightly. But this is on, I said this before, this is mounted on long slots, so you can slide it around to make it move, fit correctly. It's alright that side. We've probably just got a bit of twist in it. We might even be able to twist it, but I think just put a packer under that side and tighten the rest of it down. The fit's good. The brackets are on. I've finished welding mole grips. Right, I finished welding the brackets up and they fit well. Lovely job. What those are for? What those two are for? Oh, one's there, yeah, okay. Right, so that's okay. That fits there. And as a last filling in job before 5 o'clock, because I like to work right up to the end of the day, I ran a tap down all these holes and the same at the other side, because they are the fixing holes for the anti-roll bar which goes over the top. Right, and as it happens I've got one, so I'm going to put it on, because my wife has forbidden me to go out on it without having it on, because our field is a bit uneven and you never know what's going to happen. Drive into a hole and over you go. And this does weigh 3 tons more or less, so I don't want it on top of me. So we will have the anti-roll bars fitted and all those threads and good and now nicely cleaned out. Right, I probably won't see you tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to pick number 1 daughter up from uni and she's coming home for Christmas. So I may see you Friday. So for now folks, see you later. Bye now. Afternoon folks, Friday and a flying visit. They've dried nicely, that's the second coat on those, they're ready for stone chip now. And I've just been to get some paint on these areas so that I can reassemble all the bits onto the bonnet. And by all the bits I mean these, which I've also painted. Right, and I've noticed something. If you look at those two, this one and this one, they're not the same. And if you look on the tractor at that one and that one, they're not the same. So somebody's had them all off and swapped them round, right, and got them back on the wrong way round. So I have to do some research now and find out what a front one looks like and what a back one looks like, because they are available for sale on the internet, but they're subtly different. One's got a shallow bend there, and if you look around the other side, this one has a much tighter bend there. Right, so I think maybe it's only one of them that's wrong. Now I look at those, they look the same. They've got horizontal slots. That one's got horizontal slots. Whoops. That one's got horizontal slots, but that one's got vertical slots. How odd. And that one's definitely got a shallower bend. That's got a shallower bend. Let's look at these two closely again. I've also painted the bits on the bonnet where they go, so that I can assemble them, because I've realised that what I need to do next is to get the cowl fitted and the bonnet fitted and fitting properly before I paint it, because then I can clamp those on, get it all fitting and then take it off and paint it, rather than try and fit it up when it's being painted, because you always scratch them. That's got horizontal slots in it. That's a shallow bend. No, that's a tight bend. That's a tight bend, that's a shallow bend. That's got long slots in it. And I think this one has got shorter slots in it. But they are horizontal. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's a softer bend than that one, certainly. I'll have to do some research on this, but I'm pleased with my little brackets. They fit really well. They sit on there and fit beautifully. Right, folks, it's Friday. It's 2 o'clock. I've got to rush off again because there's all sorts to do this afternoon. I've done some of it. I'm now going up to Keith, who has a broken foot, because we're going to do a proving on Monday, and I don't know how. I've also painted those bonnet locks to put them back on. So there we go. So thanks all for watching. Thanks for pressing the like button. Please press the like button. Thanks for subscribing. Please subscribe. And I'll see you all again next week. Right? I'm sorry it's been so rushed and garbled this week, but that's just the sort of week it's been. But look at those mudguards, aren't they looking better, eh? Right, off we go. Bye now.